All right, what's up, everybody? What is going on? Let me turn this up a little bit. What's happening? Hey, it's a Saturday, rainy, another stinking rainy Saturday. It's cold. It was warmer this morning when I left for work at 2:30. I left for work at 2:30 this morning. It was warmer then than it is right now. And it's raining and cold, and I got two puppies in here. We got to follow around with a Bissell. No, just kidding. All right, so I have some really cool stuff coming up, especially tonight. Um, I did an interview with the young lady. Um, I've been able to do some commercial crabbing, some commercial oystering. I've been able to go out and do that on the wild caught stuff. And these young ladies went and they she went into a business, that isn't the easiest business, even though it's a oyster farm. It's really not the easiest business, and these are very young ladies, and you're going to hear the whole story, how she got started and all that stuff. I did pre-record this on Tuesday, so I'm going to play the video of it. Well, if you want to, as I hold on, I will be here, even though there she is again. There she is again. So I will be here through the whole thing. So if you got anything to say, you got any comments, you can go ahead and leave them. I really appreciate it. And if I get enough people in here, at the end of this, I'm going to give away a shirt, one of my new shirts. And then I don't know if I'm going to be going live next Saturday. If I do, it'll be late. It's St. Patty's Day next week, and I'll probably go a little bit later. My buddy Frank, I think they're coming next weekend, my buddy, and we'll probably sit here and just bull crap, talk music and everything like that next Saturday. We might have something special. I think I'm going to try to put together before then because I got a lot of editing to do. Because Tuesday night I'm going live again. I'm going to have on. I'm excited about these last two. I'm really going to be promoting some women in the outdoor sports stuff and like that. I think it's pretty cool. And tonight I got this young lady, and then Tuesday night, not only do I have the owner of Hogfin Performance Apparel, I got four ladies. I'm not going to leave out Eddie Weber because Eddie Weber is part of the team too. But the four ladies from Hogfin's pro staff are going to be coming on talking about their guy service, their fishing adventures, and everything like that. So it's going to be pretty cool. So as I get into this interview with Alicia, she was so nice. They're from Maine. So I'm going to get into that. So if you are going to stick around, if you do want to stick around at the end of this, hey, what's up, man? I got your hat on there, buddy. I'm wearing your hat. So at the end of this, I'm going to give away a shirt. And then on Tuesday night, when I had the four ladies on, I'm going to give another shirt away then. Okay. So I'll be live again on Tuesday night at 6:30 with Todd, the owner of Hogfin. And then the four ladies are going to be coming on with me at 7:00. Okay. So it should be pretty cool. All right. So let me get in with the interview. This is pre-recorded. I'm going to remove myself and bring this up. All right, what's it up, everybody? Hey, it's another Saturday, and this is pre-recorded. All right, this is pre-recorded. I actually did this last Tuesday. So, all right, so I appreciate you coming on. So I have these three young ladies that popped up on my Instagram. All right, and they do something that I've been able to go out and check out. I've been having a privilege to go out with my next door neighbor, Captain Rachel. She's a woman that works on the water. She does blue crabbing in the summertime, and she is out oyster now. All right. And we got a young lady that has her own oyster business from Maine. I know it's all thing Chesapeake, but it's Maine. All right. So, as I always say, what is up, everybody? So I'm going to be hanging out with Alicia today, and it seems like they have picked probably one of the hardest jobs, and it's a seasonal job. So to ask her all these questions, I'm going to be asking her about oystering in a different state. And I was very curious. Plus, the whole women's factor for me, as y'all know, that I really like promoting women doing whatever they do. And so I'm gonna bring her up now. Let me switch all this stuff as I usually do. All right, let me do the. I need a producer. I need a producer. All right, so hi, Alicia. What's you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I had I emailed her. So like I said, I get the privilege to go out and see how hard of a job she's doing. Now she's doing it a little different way. Now, when you come to, she does oysters and she has a farm. So she does farming, and I get to go out and do the wild caught oysters. And so before we get in all that, because here it's so political. What you're one thing that you're lucky because she is in Maine. Well, I'm gonna have you explain everything, but actually go ahead. I want you to explain, your name and because how you got started in farming oysters and what actually made you what in your brain triggered you to go and do oysters.
Yeah. So back in college, what I first got exposed to aquaculture actually because there was a proposal for a large land-based salmon farm to come to my town, like local hometown. They were proposing a $500 million investment in a small town of 7,000 people on the coast of Maine. And I was really curious what that meant and what that might mean for my community. And that was kind of my first entry into understanding what aquaculture was and what the industry was. Obviously, it's quite different from what I'm doing now, but that was uh, kind of the gateway drug for me. I ended up doing a semester-long project in school, and I really wanted to find a way to kind of incorporate that into what I was doing. And pretty quickly thereafter, I was seeking out internship opportunities that might be related to anything in the kind of ocean economy. And I ended up working with an organization called the New England Ocean Cluster. And one of my first days out with them, we worked with one of our clients in their network and went to a mussel farm. And it was really impressive, but looked like a lot of work. And several weeks later, we went and visited a different client on this beautiful day in the fall with all the foliage changing. And it was warm and flat calm. And went to an oyster farm. And I'd grown up eating seafood, but I had never actually had an oyster. And I loved seafood. I was the kid in a restaurant who ordered a pound of mussels and a salad with blue cheese. My parents would just be like, why can't you just like chicken nuggets? They're way cheaper.
Oh my god, with the oysters, they just look like a big ball of snot anyway, don't they? But if you cook them right, they taste pretty good.
Yeah. So that was kind of the entry point into aquaculture. And on that particular day, when I visited this first farm, there was a farmer there, not actually our client, but someone there who had met. He was opening a raw bar and had his own small scale farm. And about a year later, I was looking for internships, actually, ironically in Maryland, in the Chesapeake Bay area, and hadn't had any success. And so I approached this guy and I said, "Hi, do you know anyone in aquaculture who might be interested in having an intern? I'm super interested." And he basically said, "Yeah, I'll take you." And I moved to southern Maine 2 weeks later. And I ended up working on his farm and meeting a number of farmers through the raw bar because we would buy from them. And yeah, within 6 months, I was placing a deposit on my own oyster equipment. Um,
So obviously it was your idea. How did you twist the arms of your sister to sisters to join you?
yeah, that is kind of a funny story. My sisters and I, like, I'm the oldest of three. Each of us are 3 years apart. So myself and my sister Amy now work together. And our youngest sister works occasionally when she's available and in the state of Maine. But she's a freshman in college and she actually is living in London right now. So she's
What?
not very regionally accessible. Um, but it's one of those things. It was kind of my dream. I had this unique opportunity. I had decided I was starting the farm in the weeks before COVID, having no idea what was to come. And I was graduating college in 2020, so it was a really weird time, but it was a really cool incubator for me because all of the traditional social pressures were kind of removed.
Mhm.
So I really leaned into starting this business. 2 years later, I guess my sister was entering, or 3 years later, entering her 2. She was entering her junior year of college and she needed an internship and had struggled to find one. And I said, look, I can get you an internship, um, but it's going to be in oyster farming. That's where my connections are. And, this was at a time when there's a workforce development program here in Maine to kind of support people getting into aquaculture and support the sector. And a few farms hadn't gotten placements for a few different reasons. And I was like, look, I know this person. I think you should give it a shot. And she took on working on a different farm. It was a good experience, but it wasn't at all like what she desired to do with her career.
Right.
And come spring of last year, I actually was pursuing a job opportunity. And they asked me what I would do with the farm. And I kind of said, my sister's graduating. I'd love for her to come on. I think it's a possibility. I had not approached her with this conversation. And when I did, she said, no, ain't no way. I will not. But over the course of a number of interviews, she started to realize, like, okay, if I don't help her out, she cannot take this job, which was seafood related. It was a company focused in seafood traceability, selling harvest tags. So all the oysters coming out of the water have to have tags.
So you actually haven't started the oyster farm yet, but this is just.
No, we have. So sorry, we started in 2020. We had equipment in the water in 2020. Okay. It's just me. We brought our first oysters to market in 2021. Since then, in 2022, we grew to have a seasonal intern. And then this past summer, I was able to convince my sister, Amy, she was actually living in Iowa, to move back to Maine and join the team. And we actually had 4 interns work under her. So this year we had our biggest year, and I was a little bit removed from the farm. As I took on this job, I'm no longer with that company, but it's been really cool because it was kind of this awesome opportunity for my sister Amy to have a lot of ownership, where I think our family thought that either one of us would be dead by the end of the summer, drowned, having a Viking funeral, or a WWE match every day on the boat.
Right. Because you get along so great. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We were like, we're going to need a different boat. But she's taken like a ton of ownership in the business. It's extremely organized. When I go out, I have to ask her what I can touch, where I can go, even if I know where stuff is located. She's very organized. So we're moving into our 5th season this summer. Yeah.
Is it just a certain amount of area you're allowed? So the question for me is that you're a farmer. So the big deal here in Maryland is, so do you actually have commercial like wild caught oysters up there too?
So in the state of Maine, there's generally no wild caught oysters. There is a few, like maybe 2 wild harvesters in Maine along the Damariscotta River. There's a very, very small market for wild European oysters that do reproduce, but almost entirely, like I would say more than 99.4% of our market is pretty much farm product. There's no like spat collection or wild spat to be found really in Maine. Everything comes from a hatchery and starts in a lab, and we purchase that seed that we then plant on our farm.
Yeah, we have I know of one farm that's not too far from me, and I was watching one from I think it was oh my God, where were they? Was it Florida? I don't remember it. But so this is kind of the controversy here, is that the commercial guys. So when you talk about politics, and we're not getting nowhere near politics, right? But it's you have people for generations have made a living, and a lot of the government has either sanctuary areas to where they can't go to, or so like example, they actually we wild caught they sent out about 600,000 bushels of oysters last year, and the people that buy them only pay, would say, like 50 cents, like 80 cents for the bushel. So
Wow.
in order, a lot of times for us to replenish, we need the shell back, and they only got about 110,000 bushel back. So that don't add up. So there's a lot of situations there where they're not opening sanctuaries, and for us, one of the for us, I believe the pollution in our area, from the we had the Conowingo Dam. So you've been to Maryland. So have you heard of the Conowingo Dam? The
I
Conowingo,
actually have not, and I have spent a fair bit of time, mostly in the Annapolis, Ken Island area. That's
I'm not
mostly
too far from Ken Island.
okay.
So the Conowingo Dam is a big dam. It separates everything that comes down from New York and Pennsylvania, and it's like sits at this dam. So when we get a really big giant rain, you know what I mean? It almost
Yeah.
turns like chocolate milk sometimes. So the thing is that for us, the way, I mean, if you don't harvest your oysters, at least here, they would just silt over. They're not going to, the way the me say the way the commercial guys are saying that you need to work the ground. It's like a farmer. You need to work the ground in order for it to be productive. And we're not saying take everything from the area, but if you go and you harvest this year, you leave it alone for 2, 3 years, and then you come, you like your rotational harvest. So
Yeah.
what? So a lot of these people in there are really trying to get rid. Seems like they're trying to get rid of the commercial guys, and they want to lease you out a part of the Chesapeake Bay to make an oyster farm instead. They'd rather you do that than actually do that. So it's kind of a controversial thing here, and because I guess I'm kind of on the commercial side of it, because you got guys that have been doing it for hundreds and hundreds, not hundreds, they've been doing it for generations, and it's hard to see them really bust their butt, and every time they turn around, they got another regulation, they got another. I mean, you got to see where every time you turn around, there's something new you got to do, something new you have to, you know, please somebody.
Totally. So in Maine, we have similar challenges. Our commercial fisheries still feel the pressure from aquaculture. For us, our leasing process takes into account existing fisheries, so we cannot pursue or lease area where there's evidence of, be it ground fishing, lobster fishing, um, uh, historical information about that, and the harbor master and other people are included in those conversations before we even get to really begin the leasing process. And then for larger scale leases, there's opportunity for public insight and comment, and for those people to speak as stakeholders. So Maine prioritizes the commercial fishermen due to that, historical information, and it does make it actually more challenging, or not even more challenging, but it is challenging as a farmer, because we want to work symbiotically. We want to work together. We're
Mhm.
not trying to take away space. Most farmers will say, "Feel free to drop gear, in my area, as long as you can access it safely." But uh, most often, we're like, at least for our farms, we're generally in areas that are potentially more shallow than
Mhm.
lobster fishermen are looking for, where they're seeing things like that. Um, but that is, I think it's a controversy anywhere. There's pressures between the wild harvest and the wild caught fisheries. Maine's been cool because less so with oyster farming, though we do see it. I know a number of lobster fishermen who are diversifying and adding aquaculture as a part of their business. So we have a large number of oyster farmer, or pardon, lobster fishermen who are now farming seaweed in the winter when their season is a lot slower, to kind of offset, adding some money into their business. Um, so we're seeing kind of an evolution, slowly but surely, on how we can work together, but it definitely takes time. Uh, but I know everybody's having these kind of controversies and conversations pretty regularly about how we can,
Do things
have it
better.
be equitable and work together.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean is working together. See what I just went to a meeting, and our state fish is the stripers. I mean, you guys deal with the striper fish up there. So,
Yeah.
and what I heard the most is like governments like Maine, New Jersey, all up and down the East Coast. Every place really stands behind the commercial industry, and even some of the recreational. And Maryland is the only one. Maryland, oh, I'm always here to watch TV. Maryland's the only one that they just bitch that they cannot get the government to work or get behind the watermen. So that kind of sucks. So I mean, so when you started, what was really the process for you to actually go ahead and was it? I guess it is a big a big down payment, or did you obviously finance everything? And so how do you start? You actually got to buy all the equipment, set it out, and then you buy. How do you like set the spat up and all that stuff when you buy them?
So the first phase is pursuing the leasing process. So we have three different types of leases in Maine. This technically the smallest is actually a license. It's called a limited purpose aquaculture license, and these are 400 square feet. So more traditionally, you'll see either bottom cages or these floating oyster cages,
Mhm.
which is what we primarily use. And so that allows us to basically have 12 cages of equipment on the surface in that 400 square feet. Um, and then you can have up to four of those in 1,000 square feet or 1,000 foot radius. And the goal is that that generally allows you to try farming, experiment a little bit at a lower risk, and then pursue the larger leasing process. So then
Yes.
you have experimental leases that can be up to 4 acres and you can hold for up to 3 years commercially. And in that time, the goal is, and they anticipate you to pursue what's then called the standard process, which factual, like it's designed that says you can pursue up to 100 acres and hold it for up to 20 years. But in fact, most people don't have a lease anywhere close to that size. A lot
Mm,
of people, farmers, are looking for around 4, 6, 10 acres because
yeah.
you are pursuing that process to allow you to grow over the next 20
A lot of
years.
acres, man. That's a lot of acres.
So it traditionally, when you apply, you're going to have your lease cut down a fair bit. We are still pursuing that process, so we're operating on a number of small licenses while we work through the system. Right now, the state of Maine is taking 2 to 3 years to grant a lease, so it's not a fast process. Everybody, there's a lot of public hearings and a lot. So once you get that annual license, these smaller 400 square foot licenses, we were able to purchase equipment. And then you work with a seed provider. So we have 3 hatcheries in the state of Maine that we can purchase seed from. And then purchase the boat and had a lot of help from other farmers in this process. I didn't grow up working on the water, and I didn't grow up in the town where I'm farming.
It's
So
hard
it
in it.
was,
It's hard in it.
yeah,
It's
I had worked on some farms and I'd spent a lot of days on the water, but I didn't grow up doing that. This was a pretty new development. When my kind of farm mentor, this man Thomas, asked me, he's like, "Why don't you just start your own farm?" I thought he was crazy. Um, I thought there was very obvious reasons why I wouldn't be starting my own farm because I didn't have experience, and I'm like money, boat. And shortly thereafter, I was going for it. He said, "I will help you. You work with me, and I'll support you, like trying this out."
That's
And
cool.
so
That's great.
he and his son and his family, they helped me set my equipment and learn how to kind of be out there and start managing the business. And in that time, I was, I'd worked a lot all through college, and I went to a state schools, and I was very fortunate. I didn't um, have a very expensive college. So I had some savings to kind of support that. And then I'd been laid off during COVID, and I was using that time to kind of pursue this business. And I was able to buy my boat, which isn't like anything super special. It's pretty traditional
No, that's right.
Carolina skiff, a 19-foot Carolina skiff. It's an old boat with a nice two-stroke engine, but it's been super faithful. And that was kind of the process of getting started. I felt pretty deer in the headlights most of 2020, trying to figure out what I was doing. I'd never really driven a lot of trailers, and now I was trailering my boat multiple times a week to and from the boat launch.
You could on a summer day when all the pleasure boaters go out there, boy, that could be a you could play videos all day long watching some of them people try to watch people get back.
Yeah, I would try to get there real early. I'm like, okay, we're going out. There's no one here at the launch. We'll get out fast. Try to keep it to weekdays. So that was a good learning experience. And then
How does the
fast
spats
forward.
how does the spat I'm sorry, how does the spat how do you actually place the spat? You should put that on the video. How do you place a spat inside of the cages for it to stick? Is there like you is there something that the spat's on, or do you kind of just throw them in there, or do you is it like a screen? It's a screen inside of there, right?
So in these cages, we place bags inside of them. So
Okay.
they're a mesh bag, and there's different sizes mesh that you can purchase. You can actually purchase seeds smaller than the mesh, so then you put them in an even smaller mesh bag inside. Um, but what I have, they're kind of like a hard, rigid plastic mesh. We purchased the largest size seed. I joke that it's my insurance policy. It's very easy to lose a thousand oysters when they're smaller than half your pinky nail. Um,
Right.
so we purchase them closer to a half inch right now as we can. And then we put them, deploy 6 bags into each of these cages. Throughout its life cycle as they grow, we're going to probably handle that oyster at least 4 times a summer, because as they grow, they're going to double in size, and we're going to put them through what's called a tumbler, which is going to
Hmm.
sort them, and then we're going to put them back on the farm, kind of sorted by size. They tend to have varying growth rates, but we're also going to try to make sure that the bags are back to being a quarter full. Some days we go out there and the bag is bricked out and it's heavy as hell, and we can barely get the oysters out. Um, and it'll take us 18 months to 3 years, depending on your location in the state of Maine, to bring that oyster to market. So we have a pretty long growing cycle.
So,
The oysters hibernate in the winter. So
mhm.
uh, you can continue to farm, and we're still harvesting here and there right now. Some farmers go all year round, but they don't really continue to grow much after November, and then they probably start again in May.
Yeah, they because she crabs all summer, blue crabs all summer, and then she switches over, and it's pretty much all winter. I mean, she's she's been out there in some. I went the first time we went out. It was funny. She, because I video her. I got a bunch of videos, and we went out that day, and oh my goodness, man, we were going out, and I'm like, man, where you're going to work in this? You're talking 4 or 5 foot rollers, 3 to 5 foot rollers. We're going out in, and we're right in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay, so there's no cover, and we end up turning around that day, thank God. So when does your season start, and when does it finish? And I really want to know, what do you do on the off season when you're not farming?
So for the first couple of years, I really was working end of May, until like early December, and in that time, like we had smaller oysters, they weren't quite to market. We didn't have tons of product. I was really working alone, so I was pretty nervous and didn't feel experienced to be out there much later. Last year, I was farming through the week of Christmas, and that's in that when it comes to that time of year, when there's potential for ice, we actually sink all of our equipment to the bottom. So almost our entire farm right now, anything that's traditionally on the surface is sunk to the bottom to protect it from any ice flow out of our rivers.
Mhm,
We've had a pretty mild winter this year,
mhm.
other than a couple big, more like nor'easters than cold winters.
Yeah, we had a couple of
Um,
them.
but uh, this season, we continued through the beginning of January, and we've gone out just about every 2 weeks. We're heading out early next week, and we'll be out a few times. Um, and so this year, we're kind of testing the waters of what it looks like to be out there throughout the year. I think when you have a larger crop, it makes sense to support your distributors year round, because they
Mhm.
do still have demand. But for someone my size, we just can't do the volume where it really justifies um, not selling everything as that we can through New Year's. Uh, so our season this year is probably going to be April through December, and then we'll take a break. In the past, I've worked at restaurants. I've been a nanny. I've always been hustling other jobs. My sister works as a nanny and at restaurants, and then I've kind of been working between the farm and the contracted job to kind of make my way through the winter and have some flexibility. But
Get on a
we'll be
lobster
getting
boat.
back at it.
Get on a lobster boat. Like, no.
I haven't spent too much time on a lobster boat. Our younger sister has.
And
The
she like
youngest sister, she's been the most versatile on the water.
the so the so being, I guess it might be, I don't know if it's a little different, but I mean, do you get any hard time? Do you get a hard time, or you get a bunch of people, or men, maybe some people saying, "Oh, these girls don't know what the hell they're doing." Do you ever, did you get a little hard time about that?
So it's been funny because I feel like at the beginning we were really kind of taken under some guys' wings, uh, and it's been amusing. But we've had extremely positive experiences with like the commercial fishermen. It's always funny when we used to trailer our boat more often. I might have one of my guy friends or whoever I could get to come help me any given day, like maybe back down my truck and trailer, and I would drive the boat on, or vice versa. But usually I was driving the boat back on the trailer, and people, less so commercial fishermen, would be like, "Oh, like why is he making you do all the work?" And it was fun to yell back and say, "Well, it is my boat, and that's my truck." Um, but like it was a great way to start conversation, and I remember there's two like retired women who were like, really? And like I think that a part of them were like feeling really empowered to hear that. Um, and then this summer, one of the first days that my sister was going out, and we had three interns arriving, and it was one of my first days at my new job, so I was feeling really stressed out. We went out early in the morning, and then I was coming back to kind of get them prepared, and then my sister was going to take everybody out like around 9. Like we went out at 6, and we were going to get some stuff prepared and then get them going, and then the boat wouldn't start at the dock. We got to the dock and we could just not get it going, and it was early season, and the dock that we work out of is pretty rarely used for commercial fishermen, but they use it for getting all their traps in the water. So you'll see like 4 or 5 big boats, like a couple offshore boats, come into our small dock at high tides because it's the most accessible. They can back their trailers down, unload. They're putting out 800 traps,
Mhm.
and it's all the way out the channel. It's easier for them to drive there in the truck and do a couple laps in their boat than it is for them to keep going in and out of a river system. So on this particular day, they turned the boat perpendicular, tied it off as much as I could to the side of the dock because we didn't know what to do. And I was waiting on a mechanic to come that afternoon. We had oysters on the boat, so there was work that they could do, but we would never normally work there. And pretty much every guy interacted with them. And by the next day, my sister, they were like, here, like, if you ever need me, this is the radio channel I'm on. Like, you know, this, like, here's our numbers. If anything, and I thought that was really awesome because I mean, for us, we're always feeling a bit insecure. We don't know what we're doing. We're learning, and we're going to work really hard, and we try to be stewards of the water. I mean, I would say now I generally have a pretty decent idea, and I've got my captain's license, and I've worked on a lot of boats. But
I had
yeah,
a captain on. I brought a woman on. She was a full time. She actually did down here. Well, you heard of the Pride of Baltimore, the big sailboat?
yes, I have.
She helped sail that over to the Bahamas from here from Annapolis to the Bahamas. So she did that. I had her on. She used to drive real big, fancy, high dollar, like I mean, like rich,
Nice
like
boats.
like big boats. She said she did that for 20 years, and she's cool. I had her on. What she was one of my first that I had on when I started. That's good. I mean, that's great. Rachel gets that now. At first, I think it was a little tough for her, but it's great that everybody's kind of. I mean, they're helping you guys out. I mean, especially being a newbie. I mean, not don't be embarrassed being a newbie because
No.
everybody had to go. Everybody had to start somewhere. You know. I mean, so what are you looking? th- If you're thinking of a future, all right. So you're explain to me what you think that you really want the future to be with the farm.
This is a ongoing question. So one of the things that was unique about COVID is how much it encouraged me to like lean in and grow this business and brand. We've been really fortunate to have like a ton of support. I don't even know if I said it, but we own not like I own Naughty Sisters Sea Farm, spelled like nautical, and it really resonates with people. People think it's fun and it's a little spicy, so it's kind of taken on a life of its own. At the same time, I don't actually aspire to be like one of the largest farms. I want to have a business that's self-sustaining. I want to be able to pay people. I want to be able to provide good opportunities. Um, and but I've been really struggling with the answer of this question because my goal is I've been able to kind of establish really strong partnerships with universities and educational programming. Um, because we make so many mistakes and because I'm really honest and authentic about that in person and online, a lot of people have wanted to come work with us and kind of work through, um, the trials and
Yeah.
tribulations of oyster farming. And so we've kind of become this like unique educational service in a way
Do,
that
do
I
the
didn't
school
really plan to be.
do the schools will the schools, like, would you get grants from schools to have the program set up for like that, so that helps you a little bit financially?
Yeah, so with some of the programs, they are funding the student, like they'll pay for them to work with us. And because myself and my sister are recent graduates, we're not just like, we're super familiar with good and bad internships, and we're really familiar with like what that looks like and what the requirements are. So our goal has been, how do we work collaboratively with these people to kind of meet their goals and our own? And it does take time. Like, we're not compensated beyond having like the labor compensation.
Hmm.
So but it's something, it's been a really cool experience, and we've been able to work with a number of young women. We also have it like a male intern, so we're not discriminatory, but we've had a really big kind of pool of applicants for any offerings that we've had from young women. So I want to keep that as like a key part of the plan. It's been like the great dilemma of how do you monetize this in a way that, um, just allows us to continue to do it. It's none of what we're doing will get us rich quick or probably ever.
Right.
Uh, but if I can empower some other young women or other young people to try being on the water, to learn how to run a boat, to consider being a captain or even an oyster farmer, like that's been really cool. I want to continue to grow the brand and kind of see where it can take us. We've had really exceptional opportunities to work with cool different chefs and travel across different states for pop ups and things. Uh, so it's hard to really uh, appreciate like where we might go.
Hmm.
We're in an area that's really expensive to live and to own
Hmm.
property. So the next step in our growth would be requiring a land-based facility, space for more equipment, space for processing and keeping oysters. And it really doesn't feel feasible. We've been really fortunate up until now to have a really awesome relationship with the family I used to nanny for who lives on the island where our farm is. But outside of that, it is, if we were to kind of continue to grow, uh, that would be the next step. So it's been a learning curve on deciding and figuring out what scenario, what scale it needs to be at for that to potentially make sense.
So if somebody wanted to support you, I see you got a good set of clothing, apparel, hats, shirts, sweatshirts. I'll put everything in the link. I'll actually show right now. I'll show everybody a lot of your shirts and everything. Actually, I just started my first. I just finally got my store up with all of on my stuff.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's just it's
Those little things do help us. The merch is more profitable than oysters. It's
mhm.
easier. We can do it year round. Our merch, we try to keep it fun. So right now we have some collaborations coming out, and we'll be have more offerings really soon. Early spring, we're excited. Um, but that stuff does support us because it gives us a little bit of income through the winter, just to have some money in the bank to figure out. Yeah, just a little bit of extra security. Uh,
No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I mean, she so the first year she went out oyster, so she just strictly was crabbing. So she had the whole so all, she relied just on her husband in off season, during the winter time. So she decided to go out oyster, and so she went in on somebody else's boat. And then last year she actually switched everything. So she crabbed all year. She had to buy the boom, buy everything because she was a dredger. So I don't know if you know, but here you have the hand tongers that do it by hand, you
yep.
know, and then you have the dredgers, and then you had the patent tongs. Um, so she had her boat all set up, and she did, and then when you do your own boat and you got all this, all the money that it costs to run it all year long and do it all year long, and they're allowed 20 bushel per person. So they had two licenses on the boat. And so the good thing she's liked about oystering for her commercially, wild caught was, if you get your 20 bushel, you know you pretty much know what you're going to get paid. Crabbing's completely different. So This year, I think she didn't take the boat out, and she's been working on somebody else's boat, and he owns a seafood place. So to do anything in the off season, so are you dreading maybe had to do it all year long, or do you think that because up where you're at, I mean, it can get pretty much everything frozen over, and maybe
So we don't have too much of an issue with like ice, but we get some cold days, some windy days. I think I used to really dread the idea of it, and this year I've actually enjoyed most of the days we spent on the water. Like January was, we had some beautiful times, but it's cold, and then the extra hours. It doesn't take too long to
get in the
put the boat in and out, but your hands are cold, and you just start getting your feet might be in the water at the boat launch, and it's all those little things when you're taking those extra steps. Um, but realistically, we have the demand to purchase all of our product um, without working through the winter. And because it's so much safer for our equipment to be sank at the bottom. Um, I've just decided, like, if we can try to aspire to not work through the winter for now, that's the primary goal. But
interstate.
I think with my sister working with me, when she first started, I didn't know if she was going to come back, and now she's planning to stay here for now. I didn't want to put too much pressure on her because it's my dream, not hers, and it's my
Right.
business. But she seems interested, and as long as she wants to be here, I want her a part of it.
Well, that's cool. The only thing I say is that I appreciate if you really want to help these girls out, go purchase a shirt, a hat. Go check them out on Instagram. All the links I will put in the description. All right, so this is Alicia. So the way to support her is I'm going to put her website on there. You go to our website, you can pick out hats, sweatshirts, shirts. I mean, you name it. They actually got some pretty cool apparel. I was actually
Got some
trying to.
new oyster earrings coming live this week.
Oh, there you go. Do you have a store? Or you just going right to your website, right? Everything's right to your
um,
website.
yeah, right to our website. It's under the catalog, and everything should be up to date.
So what's the? I'll put the website, but why don't you go ahead and put the website up, and what's the name of the website?
It's just naughty, spelled NAUTI, nautisistersseafarm.com.
Okay, I'll definitely have that in the bottom. All right, Alicia, thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm trying to, you know, get as much word as I can on some women, and I know that oystering is not an easy job. It's hard, and I appreciate you and your sisters and what you're doing. And thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, I'm coming up. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So that was pre-recorded from Tuesday. Man, what she was so nice, and they're so young, and they're really just kind of work. I mean, they're working their butt off. If you're doing any kind of oystering, it's just a hard job, and a lot of it's done through the freaking wintertime. So what I'm going to do, let me remove some of this stuff. Um, I'm going to stand here for a couple more, a little bit longer. Yeah, they work pretty hard, and I don't think when you listen to her, when you listen to her, when you're working, when you're helping somebody else, sometimes you don't realize when you start out, you don't realize a lot of the cost and all the labor and all the things you got to go through. But when you become the owner and you realize really what goes into some of this stuff, it's sometimes it's a rude awakening, but they look tough, man. They're out there. I know she gets a lot of interns, which is cool. And I don't know if it's the it's not a cushy job, especially it's just not a cushy job. Now, like I said, I get to go out and I got once a year oyster, maybe twice if I ask. They usually don't have any problem with me coming out doing some commercial oystering with them. But it's a hard job. I don't know what Rachel's looking forward to, but I know crabbing's coming real soon. I think it starts usually it starts April 1st. You can start crabbing, but last year was probably the earliest in a year I can remember her really going out and crabbing. I know the guys that have the potters out in the bay, I know them guys can they'll start setting their stuff up, but I'm sure they'll wait till it gets really warm out. But if you want to help them girls out, this is live. When I put it up, I'll stick everything in the description for. They're a great young bunch of girls, backbreaking, but awesome, honest. Yeah, it is. It's tough, and these are young college girls, but she said she's doing other stuff with oysters, so she's promoting. She said she was down in Louisiana, no Louisiana and Texas. They got their oysters down there. It's just a real big deal. I haven't really want to get in too much of politics when it comes to here and our oyster farming. We have oyster farms, but you know, I think they're trying to push the oyster farms here in the Chesapeake Bay, and what that does, it's really just going to push out the commercial guys. And I got to stick behind the commercial guys. These guys, a lot of people think that the commercial guys are they just want to take everything. No, they want to make sure that they have oysters replant when it comes to crabs and oysters and rockfish and everything. They want to make sure that they can do everything they can to sustain it. And it just seems like the government just will not get behind the whole fishery part of it. Sometimes I think, um, instead of kind of working together, knowing that the commercial guys, have ideas, probably shouldn't play music right now. The wife is jamming in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. So I have I'm telling you what, if you think you can do it, I went out there, and when you start with these guys out dredging, when they lower that boom and they start dredging, it's nonstop. By the time they put a table full of oysters and you're done filling that up, another full of the dredge is full again. The bucket's full again coming in, and it's nonstop until you fill it up. Now I made a mistake there and said it was 20 bushels per license, and that's not true. It's 10, depending on what kind of license you have, is how many bushels of oysters here in Maryland you can have. And each license on their boat with Mr. Blau and with Glenn Blau and Rachel, they both have their licenses, and so it's 10 bushel per person. Um, I'm going to give away a shirt. I got this up. Let me share this and see if kind of give you an idea. Haven't decided which one, but I think of some of these I might change the logo. See how the logo can be on the front. Hoodies, hat, that hat here, hoodies, different kind of shirts. Um, the logo here. Let me hold on one second. Let me go back to this real quick. Um, let me. This is the logo. Oh, that's the logo is going to be on the back. Turn it down a little, please. Um, that's the logo is going to be on the back, and some of them will be on the front and the back. A small one on the front, the bigger one on the back, or I'll have this one. That's a logo a little bit on the front with this crab on the back, or just the crab, nothing on the front. I'm going to go back to. Let me go back here. All right, as we're sharing this, what am I looking like up there? Yeah, I am sharing it. The wife is jamming in the background. All right, we even have stuff for women. There's stuff for women. You can have all different kind of colors. So what I'll do is I'm going to set it up, and I might stay here like nice women's and things. We even got a couple accessories. We got the cups and the hats and the thing and that thing, and so stuff about we got all kind of stuff on there. The link. How can I? How come I can't share? I'm gonna share it. She's playing Ingve over there. she's she's playing Ingve over there. All right, let me go back over here and look at the comments. I know, but everybody else can. Everybody else can. I'm going to stop sharing this. Hold on, stop sharing. Go back to my. If you don't have it in a sustainable way, then there won't be anything left in the heart. Yeah. So they have sanctuaries, and I just read something the other day saying that their sanctuaries are working. Well, for me, because of the Conowingo Dam and the soot and everything that comes through that place, if you don't, to me, if you don't harvest it, if you don't work the ground, I mean, isn't it like a field? If you're going to plant corn, you're going to plant something, you have to work the ground for it to work. I mean, for it to grow. And if you go into a sanctuaries, if you have sanctuaries where you leave it alone for a couple of years and you go in there and you work the ground and then you leave it alone for a couple of years and you go to a different part. So it's kind of rotational, to where once you work this ground, well, then they procreate and they do whatever they do and they rebuild again. So so what I'm going to do, how long we been on here? We've been on here almost an hour. What's everybody doing? What's everybody doing like Saturday night? There ain't a lot of people in here tonight. I was very excited to have her on Tuesday. I'm going live again on Tuesday. I will be working on that tomorrow because of the stinking rain. It's stinking rain again, cold and rainy today. The wind was just blowing its butt off just a minute ago. I got 4 ladies coming on. I actually got Scott from not Scott, Todd from Hogfin Performance Apparel and fishing. His apparel. He's got some pro staff, 4 young ladies. They're going to be coming on with me. I will be promoting it. I got to do all the thumbnail. I got to do all the stuff tomorrow. I'll get that set up. Usually, I like doing this on Saturday, but a lot of them I have. I want to work with anybody. And I'm working out right now with going down Delaware Paddle Sports, and I'm going to have Rashawn on from Legion of Anglers. He's actually going to come down with me and be live into the store. I know they're getting ready. So that's April the 13th. We're working on that. I'm sipping a unique pour of scotch and waiting on a friend to show up. Yeah, I'm thinking about changing this from Saturday to a different day during a week where maybe most people around this time might be home instead of, I don't know what a lot of people do, especially come summertime. I don't know a lot of people that are going to be, I know we might be crabbing on Saturday nights. But if anybody in here hit the like button too, that kind of helps me out. I'm drinking my Kona beers. I'm only having one. I'm not drinking too much tonight. I forgot what I was doing. I know I'm just bullcrapping now. Everything's kind of over it. So okay, hold up. So April the 13th, I'm going to be setting up with Rashawn. He's going to be coming in. I'll see if he wants to give he's got his baits. He has bait lures that he has, frogs and stuff. Maybe he might want to give something away. Maybe I'll give something away. We'll see what happens. Maybe I know Delaware Paddle Sports is sponsoring their snakehead tour. It's a trail. I think it's 4 tournaments, and I think they're giving away a kayak. So the week before, April 13th, I think we're going to be going down with Rashawn to talk all about that. And then their tournament's going to start. I think the next Saturday is the 23rd. Then March 23rd, in 2 weeks, I think it's 2 weeks, I'm going to be heading down to Henlopen bait shop. They're new. They have an old shop that's been down there in Delaware, but they're just opening up. And I think Jordan is actually wanting maybe something to be down there maybe once a month. So when I get down there and talk to Jordan, I could be going down there once a month to have a live stream in store at his new bait shop. It's right on Coastal Highway in Delaware, in Henlopen, Delaware. I seen it on Dan's 302 Fishing, his YouTube channel. He was promoting it. So if you want to see that, Dan on 302 Fishing, He's got the white beard like I do. His is a little bit longer. Mine's a gray and white. Gray and white. His is really, really white. But I got 6 people in here. So if you want, what I'm going to do, if you like to win a T-shirt, I'm going to set. Thought I should have had this set up. Just give me a second. We got to do. Sam likes to peck. And I didn't take typing. I didn't take typing in school. Hold on, let me take this off real quick. I'm just setting this up. All right. So if you guys are interested, let me share the screen. I'm gonna share it. Not right yet. Yeah, we're right there. We got that going on. So you're going to put in hashtag. Leave that in there. So if you, yeah, typing sucks, dude. I mean, I can peck like a chicken. All right, so I showed everybody. I'll share it again, and I'll show. I'm going to give away. I got some accessories here. We have men's shirts. Either you can have the logo on the front, the small. If you want to put Outdoors of Maryland on the front, it's up to you. If you win, just contact me, and we'll send you. Probably send you. We're probably going to give away a shirt. Haven't decided which one. I haven't decided if I'm going to give the long sleeve, the wickening one. I know we got some wickening stuff in here, but I'll give you a shirt. Just need a size. Just need to let me know if you want the Outdoors in Maryland on the front or just the crab on the front and the crab on the back. The one that has this on the front, you can see it has that on the front and it'll have that. It'll have that on the back. So if you want to put in the comments, hashtag oysters. Hashtag oysters. You put that in there, start putting the hashtags in, and then I'll go ahead and we'll give away one of those shirts. We'll see if anybody's in there. No entries yet. Make sure I got it spelled right. OYSDR. Make sure I spelled that right. So in the comments, if you put in hashtag oysters, and then I'll give a shirt away. What's that? Don't we all? And you got to kind of be, I think you got to be in the United States. Well, I don't know. I think they'll ship them anywhere. Yeah, we'll find that out. All right. Let me see one entry. It won't be hard to decide. It won't be hard to decide. 6 people in here. Got 6 people. I got 6 people in here. Maybe they don't like the logo. You're a crabber. You want the logo? Metalhead logo. That's what we have here. It's going to have it'll have oh no, hold up. Put that in there. That logo will be on the back with the blue crab. We only got 7 people in here. Hashtag oyster. Put it in there. Oysters. Yeah, he has a lot of them. I'm gonna get ready to end this real soon. And the only person right now has oysters, Mr. Green Shot. I'm gonna give it 5 more seconds. If you want to win a shirt, hashtag oysters, and that's it. I'm gonna just give it to Mr. Green, my man here. Green Shot. Great shot. I'm sorry. That's what she said.
That's what she said. Come on, you slackers. Everyone needs a cool shirt.
Yeah, one entry.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. So what you can do, Green Shot, just I'm on Instagram, Outdoors in Maryland, or Outdoors in Maryland, or on Facebook, whichever one you want. You can wherever I don't know where you're probably watching me from YouTube. But you can go to the Outdoors in Maryland on Facebook or Instagram and just instant message me, and then I'll get your address and I'll send you a shirt. I haven't decided. Do you want a long sleeve or a short sleeve? Yeah, you can go to my either Sam Tudor, or you can go to Outdoors in Maryland. Well, I see you're on Facebook, but you're on YouTube right here, right? Yeah, I see you on YouTube. That's a dumb question. Just go ahead and leave me a message on Facebook. Okay, I'll pick you out a cool one. And when you get it, please let me know. Please let me know the quality, because you'll be the first one. I'm getting ready to order a couple shirts for me, the wife. My daughter's going to get one, and for my next door neighbor Rachel. And somebody probably driving and can't type in oysters. You know what I mean? Somebody's listening. Oh, that's cool. Well, that's cool, Mr. Green Shot. Great shot. I keep calling it Green Shot.
Great shot.
I know. I see it. Great shot. All right. I had fun. Alicia was really cool to come on. Like I said, I will be going live Tuesday. I'm going to do all the work tomorrow to get that set up. I'm going live Tuesday with Hog Fin Performance Fishing with Todd at 6:30. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm going to have the 4 young ladies coming on. One is with JLS Rods. I got to remember her name. Got Kayla. She's here's Kayla Hale. She is a guide. She does smallmouth guiding up in Pennsylvania on the Susquehanna, and she does snakehead here in Maryland. We all live in Maryland, but that's it. So let's see if I got a message from Great Shot.
Are you off now?
No, I'm still on here.
Oh.
I'm looking at this Great Shot, Mr. Great Shot.
Okay, come on in here.
All right, that's cool. I got you, buddy. Just what you can do is just leave me your address. Just send me your address here, all the good information I need, and then I'll. Now, do you want the Outdoors in Maryland on the front, or would you like the little crab on the front and the crab on the back? Or you can just have the crab on the back, whichever one. Just send me what design you want. Can't believe I had 9 people, like 8, 7 people in here. Yeah, now I got you on Facebook now. I got you on Facebook. You can just send it right over on that. I got it. All right. So I appreciate anybody's in here stopping by. It's just another Saturday night, nice rainy Saturday night. I'm going to be sitting back and drinking some beer. The little one on the front and the big one on the back, the crab on the front, crab on the back. All right, you got it. All right. I'll do my best to set it up tomorrow, and hopefully you'll get it next week. All right. Thanks for stopping by. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, would be awesome. All right. See you, everybody.